Hey guys, and welcome back to another UnknownnHD video. Today we're going to be talking about a couple things that a lot of people either have missed, or we're actually going to be talking about some patch notes and the stream that just happened by BSG as of yesterday. They talked about a few things that are very interesting. As you can see here, this is the BSG stream. They were having the winter Twitch drops day 4, and they were talking about some upcoming changes to the game that are pretty interesting. So they did talk about optimization update is going to be happening soon. So if there's anyone having some major problems on some maps, I know I am having some, I'm just saying, you know, hold out, let's see what the update does, and then we can go from there and try to figure it out. I know the optimization in this game is kind of annoying to deal with, but it's a lot of content driven stuff right now that BSG is outputting constantly, which is amazing. So we can't give them too much grief for the optimization when it comes to new content being followed with it. So, you know, optimization is coming out, so that's pretty great. Next, we have Streets is going to be separated, possibly, we don't know this for sure, but they talked about it. The Streets is going to be separated into 2 locations, and they said that they would be an allowance of a transition between the 2 locations. Now, this is going to be very good. Now, the transition is going to be interesting as we tested transitioning from last wipe. That was an interesting change, and it was very awesome to do, but there was a lot of spawn camping and some very unique issues, and transitioning this wipe has caused some other issues where you're transitioning with other people that aren't in your squad, or you're ending up in another group's squad. It just kind of weird, but basically the transitions, hopefully those get kind of more optimized and fixed without issues when this happens. But actually, this is going to be a great change. Streets being split into 2 different maps, not dedicated maps that you go to maybe, but transition based maps is going to be ideal going forward, as it's going to make the map smaller and more optimized for the game itself. So imagine playing Streets like it's interchange or customs, something where you get really good FPS and it doesn't feel so clunky. There you go. That's going to be the main reason why the transition is going to be really good. Next, we're going to be talking about the next wipe. They actually talked about a little bit of the next wipe, which is strange because obviously this wipe just happened and then they're talking about next wipe already. So obviously they're using wipes to test some things, but they said next wipe is going to be more difficult. They did not specify how, but they said it's going to be more difficult than this wipe is, and everyone is complaining about all these weird changes with the fountain raid stuff and the flea market, and that BSG doubled down. Honestly, I'm here for it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what their plan is before we start, you know, throwing bullets in another direction, right? So, yeah, next wipe is going to be more difficult, which is also very interesting. Following that, they also mentioned that Skeef is going to be brought into the game some way, somehow. They didn't mention specifically, but they said he could be a face of a boss. They could put him in as a face that you can use as a bear character, so we don't know exactly for that too, so that's going to be interesting going forward. Now, if you also missed it, we're going to be going to the Nikita post on X, December 27th. Now, if you did not see this coming, if you did not see this before, this is like the video that he did. He posted like an 18-second video, kind of showing the like some memes, obviously some unique stuff that's really cool for Christmas. But quarter 2, so that's what the Q2 is probably standing for. Quarter 2, they show posters, a Christmas tree, 18 seconds, and then what is this right here? This is a weapon skin. And honestly, I think this is going to be really cool. I just talked to my friends about weapon skins. I was like, when are they going to add these? And then they released this video. Nikita released this video. So it's going to be very interesting to see. This is what the look is of that skin. It's like a sand camo or like a green snake skin-esque to it. But basically, the skins are going to be kind of cool. Honestly, I'm expecting them to be kind of brought between both game modes, so I can see just like how there's skins when it comes to jackets, wearables, pants in both arena and in the base game of Tarkov. You can get different achievements to get both of those, or unique ones for each arena and Tarkov, and I think it's going to be interchangeable. The games are synced together, the game modes are. It's like they 2 should have been released into one game instead of 2 separate games, but it's neither here nor there. But I think the skins are going to be interchangeable, just like how the clothing is in the game. They're already synced anyway. It would make sense, and it would be kind of cool to be able to achieve each individual skins. So for example, if you're a certain rank or you do something awesome in arena based, you can use that ranked skin on your gun going into actual Tarkov. So kind of cool to do there, as a lot of games are doing that anyway. And then finally, I'm going to wrap up with the patch notes. Now, these are the patch notes as of, I believe, yesterday. Oh yeah, January 3rd. So today, there was actually a patch at 2:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's going to be fix an issue where it causes players to freeze when interacting with the BTR. So if you didn't know, if you interact with BTR, sometimes it would glitch out. And as Arrowing Marines says here, I liked riding on the outside of the BTR like I was some kind of improvised protective armor. So yeah, in other words, you get stuck on the side and you look like you're getting carried along, and everyone was afraid of dying that way. But it was kind of a meme and hilarious at the same time of a little bit of panic. So good to know that they fixed that. Fixed all known issues that LED to incorrect playback or complete absence of environment sounds on various locations. So that's going to be very good when it comes to trying to figure out those audio issues. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then I'm going to talk about the patch notes that they posted on January 1st, just because I did not get to make a video about that. They said that the game will not stop, but the update servers were reduced to 10 minutes. So this was really good for them. I am happy with those changes, because sometimes these patch notes take forever. Basically, they said fix an issue where the player were teleporting in place without being able to move in any direction or various locations. Basically, what happened was, and I had this happen to me, you would spawn in and you'd get stuck in a spot and you could not jump, you could not run, you would run in place, get stuck, and you can disconnect, reconnect, Alt F4, whatever you want to do, and you would still be there. So I'm glad they fixed that. Following that, fix all known issues where players transitioning between locations could enter a raid with players outside their group. So, as I mentioned earlier, transitioning with players, you ended up with different squads. They also ended up with you. So something that Pistilli actually posted on his YouTube, he said that his squad would hit crouch. Everyone agreed to hit crouch right away, and if you weren't crouching, you weren't a part of the group, right? So they just mowed him down. So yeah, so that's how they worked around that while that was getting fixed. Fix an issue where kills for Achilles defense velociraptor Achilles defense velociraptor 300 blackout did not count towards progression of Punisher Part 2 quest, so that's going to be good to know. If you have not reached that Punisher Part 2, you can actually use that weapon, and you can craft it in your Christmas tree if you did not know that. So few bulbs and you can get that weapon, which is the newest gun in the game. Reduce the sales limit for 7.62 to 51 BCP FMJ rounds to 120 for owners of the Unheard edition per stock, which is kind of a pay to win thing in my opinion. But it's not the greatest ammo in the world. But if you're using 7.62 by 51, that's all you have access to for a pretty good amount of time until you get to mid to late wipe. So having another 20 rounds is a difference between another magazine. If you're using an SR25, that's a 20 round mag right there. So I mean, that's kind of a pay to win thing. It's kind of sucky, but that's okay, I guess. I have Unheard edition, so it doesn't really factor negatively on me, but I do feel for the people who have not invested that much time, money, and effort into the game that can miss out on those 20 bullets. But the Harris SBRM69 bipods moved to skier level 2, which is pretty nice. You can get those pretty mid, early wipe kind of to mid, so that's kind of nice. BT10 V8 Atlas bipods moved to mechanic level 2, again, kind of nice. NVG's 57E night vision device added to proper level 1. It is pretty bad, but that's kind of the point why it's level 1, right? I found some in raid, used them the following raid, and I was like, I was questioning why were they selling for only 7k to the vendors. I was like, oh, these gotta be great. Well, then I found out they only work on the tank helmet, so yeah. They're not the greatest, but they do work if you're wanting that extra little vision at night. I do recommend setting your feather on your post effects or some other filter to kind of reduce the green, as it does tend to hurt a lot of the players' eyes. The green's pretty intense sometimes, so definitely reduce that if you need to. But following that, adjusted spawn rates for barter items in pockets on scavs and player scavs, so I'm hoping they increase this. But also I found a lot of scavs that have been looting a lot of other players, but I don't know if they changed the player scavs on a negative sense, so that they are more willing to go and look for stuff rather than spawn in and go, oh well, I'm gonna leave, I got the item I need, right? Adjusted spawn rates for and conditions for armor and armored rigs on scavs and player scavs. Yeah, there was a weird thing going on there where you get some really crazy armor on some scavs and your player scavs sometimes, and I think they changed this to better represent early wipe rather than scavs walking around with tier 4 armor, and you are using 9mm with very high pen on level 1 but not so much on level 2, and they're wearing tier 4. So I think that's a change just based on where the wipe is, early wipe, and then they'll change it back. Adjusted spawn rates for ammunition, not ammunition, on player scavs. This is going to be really good. When you spawn in, you don't have 18,000 mags, or you have just amount that you need. I don't know exactly what they did there, but pretty interesting. Adjusted spawn rates for backpacks on scavs. I'm hoping more backpacks are found on scavs. I've seen a lot more backpacks. I haven't seen as many scavs with no backpacks, so I'm hoping that's a really quality change there, and I'm continuing to see more backpacks. So that's going to be it for the video, guys. Please be sure to hit the like button and go and check out my Twitch channel. I am not doing drops this segment. I do not have any drops going on, but please be sure to check out my Twitch and my YouTube at any point in time, and my TikTok. I am starting to stream on TikTok now. So I will talk to you guys later. Thanks again for watching, and peace out.